Hello, grumpy old fart here. I I try to keep everything in my videos real, rock solid. You know, I don't say anything that I can't prove, or that cannot be proven. Nor do I use wild. I don't do conspiracy theories. I do conspiracies proven. I don't do wild alien stories. I look at events that happened with the eye of, well, maybe they're real now because the Navy has said UFOs are real. This is not about UFOs, at least not that I'm aware of. But there is some strange shit going on here. All right, there's a place called Pumapunku. It's in Tihuanaku, which is in western Bolivia. This is a megalithic site. For those of you who don't know what that is, the ancients used huge stones to construct religious and other sites. And I'm going to do another one after this, but this is unexplained, and to me, there's no explanation for it. Okay. This site is believed to date back to 536 AD, but there are some. The site is 13,000 feet above sea level. This site may be. Some people date this site as up to 17,000 years old. Now, officially, it's at 536 AD, but there are some people who have some pretty compelling evidence to suggest that it's much older, as far back as 17,000 years. Now, 17,000 years ago, human beings weren't like we are now. I mean, we didn't have the wheel, we didn't have iron, we didn't have anything like that. But these megalithic sites were built all over the world. Now, this particular one is interesting to me because they have a number of what are called H blocks. They look like building blocks. Like, you get the little building blocks when you're a kid and you build stuff out of them. That's what these things look like. But they look like big H's. They're called H blocks. And these things are massive. They weigh thousands of pounds, several tons each. They're huge. They're built precisely, and they're all exactly identical. They're built with precision and a high degree of accuracy. Anybody who's seen these things, I could see making one of them by hand out of another. You make a whole bunch of them and you mess up a bunch of times and finally get one that's perfect. I could see that. But there's a whole bunch of them. They're exactly identical and they're all perfect. Just like they came off of an assembly line. I mean, right off a CNC machine. That's what it looks like. The edges are straight. They're perfect. The surfaces are flat. The squares are 90 degrees perfect. I mean, CNC machines would have a hard time doing this because these things are huge. Now, they're made out of andesite, which is a type of a volcanic rock, and the quarry, they say, is 70 kilometers away. Keep in mind, these things weigh several tons each, and the site that they brought them to is 13,000 feet above sea level. So they're hauling these things up the mountain. These things have perfect workmanship, and they fit together like puzzle pieces, or those toy red plastic bricks when you were a kid. These things fit together like that. They're designed like that. There's a lot of these things. They're all over the place. It's like you're building it looks like a big construction site, and you have some material and some building material left over. That's kind of what it looks like. But if they're making these things by hand, why are there so many leftovers? These H blocks, now some people now are saying that these H blocks may be made of some kind of an artificial geopolymer. I don't know how true that is. As far as I know, andesite is natural, so I don't know. It's very hard, and if these were made 17,000 years ago, they weren't using iron tools to do it. I'm just saying. These things are so precise with internal bevels and edging. internal blocks, the pieces fit together, and they won't, you know what I'm saying, like puzzle pieces, and they're all very precise. We wouldn't be able to do this today without CNC machines. I mean, there's no way anybody today could do that by hand. It's just not possible. Now, there are also a lot of magnetic anomalies at that site. So, you know, again, we don't know. All this together says that somebody with some serious machinery made those blocks. Now, let's date the site at 536 AD. Who at 536 AD had a CNC machine? I'd like to meet them. If it's 17,000 years old, those people didn't have the wheel. They didn't use beasts of burden. They didn't use, they didn't have any kind of mathematics. I think was pretty much a new concept for them. Much less, you know, measurements and blah, blah, blah. So, there is no explanation for how these were made. Nobody can tell anyone. Nobody has a logical explanation for how these H blocks were made. It's ridiculous. If you've not seen them, there's videos of them on YouTube. Go check them out. The archaeologists will make all kinds of claims. This is how they did it, blah, 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 blah. They were made by hand. Okay, fine. Show me the tools. Show me the tools they used to make that precise block. And not only that one, but all these others that are exactly like it. Show me the tools that made that 17,000 years ago. Because it's ridiculous. Science obviously doesn't know everything. If they did, there would be no need for science. However, what they're teaching in schools, they keep having to revise. In a video called Bigfoot and UFOs, I talked about Göbekli Tepe. Whenever science knows something, they end up having to change it later because they don't know what they think they know. Well, about these H blocks, they don't know nothing. Nobody does. That's the problem. The people in the area say they didn't build it. Well, if they didn't build it, who did? You folks have a good day. God bless one and all.